Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gamers of all ages, welcome to Gamer Talk TV. I am your host, Tom Szydlo. With me are my dear friends Nick Schliep and William Voorhees to discuss and converse in the wonderful world of video gaming. This episode is a little different from our usual episodes because we're going to be taking a look at a video game movie. You may know it. It is Wreck-It Ralph. It is a wonderful movie that we're going to be discussing and just talking about our opinions of it after the three of us have gone to see it several weeks ago. Now, I'm going to start with describing the plot of the movie. I'm going to try to describe it as best I can without giving too many spoilers, because we're going to try to keep this as spoiler-free as we can for as long as possible. The plot of Wreck-It Ralph is about this character named, Wreck-It Ralph, who is the villain of this game, Fix-It Felix Jr. Felix is a guy who fixes things with his magical hammer, and Ralph is kind of tired of being the bad guy because he doesn't feel like he's really a bad guy, if that makes any sense. But he goes on a quest then to earn a medal that the hero earns at the end of winning the games, and because he wants to prove to everyone that he can be a good guy, even though he's a bad guy. So that's kind of the gist of the movie. I'm not very good at describing this, but hope that was good enough. Now we're going to just go here with these fine gentlemen, and let's just go with what would you guys say are some of the pros and cons of this movie? We're going to start with the pros. Whoever wants to start.
Well, I think one of the pros is the fact that they were able to cash in on actual characters, as opposed to saying, oh, there's Bowser. He looks very similar to Mario's Bowser, but he's not. No, they were actually be able to get to real thing, and I feel that really reinforces how much they cared about this movie and just the impact it has when you can recognize a character and go, hey, I know that guy.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I felt like that was, good that they actually cared about video games, but I also felt like sometimes they overdid it. Like, some of the characters, they didn't really need to be there. They had no purpose. Like,
Sonic the Hedgehog in that PSA.
That was just kind of fun, though.
He appears while Ralph is walking through essentially a giant train station. There's one of those information pillars, and it has Sonic the Hedgehog on it. And he gives this little speech about don't go into other people's games. If you die, you don't come back. And that's really the only time you see him in a speaking part. Other than that, he's just in the background.
Mm-hmm. It was nice to have a lot of cameos, though, because I don't know about you guys, but one of my favorite scenes was just at the beginning where they were in that whole Bad Guys Anonymous thing, because it was like the AA meeting that we all wish we could go to, even if we weren't alcoholic in the first place. But I like that all those characters that we knew, like this movie kind of played to the heartstrings of people who played video games a lot, or just knew these characters, but you didn't need to. That was the best part of it. So, just going to go with what do you guys think of some of the main characters. First, we're going to discuss, other than Ralph, let's go with what was your favorite character other than Ralph?
I actually really enjoyed the character Calhoun. She's the main character. She was the main character.
If I may quickly say, it was played by Jane Lynch, which I find amazing. It's hilarious.
Yeah, she was the lady from the shooter game, and she was all tough and no nonsense. But the thing I thought that was really clever was in her backstory is they weren't just like, oh, something sad happened. They say she's got the saddest backstory ever programmed, and it goes into like some overly ridiculous tragedy that befell her, and I thought that made her character interesting because it wasn't just, oh, she's generic because she's generic. She's generic because that's what the video game needed, like, I'm tough. And
the shooter character had to be generic because they were trying to play it off kind of in a comedic sense, which was what was great about it. And that, and like the game Sugar Rush, was just kind of over the top, ridiculous, silly, but fun. William, what would you say your favorite character that wasn't Ralph?
Ooh, that's tough. It would have to be between two of the other main characters, either Fix-It Felix or Vanellope von Schweetz. Fix-It Felix is the hero of the Fix-It Felix Jr. game. He's the protagonist of that game, but he doesn't view Ralph as evil, really. He just kind of sticks with the status quo.
He's kind of like just his work friend that he has to work with.
He just kind of does what needs to be done. Mm-hmm. And then Vanellope, she's a glitch character in Sugar Rush, and she just has this really endearing, kind of quirky, like, charisma that,
she's the adorable one.
Yeah. She's played by Sarah Silverman, and then Fix-It Felix is played by Jack McBrayer. Oh, and I think they fit perfectly, like nobody else would be able to play them.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to have to say that I'm going to have to use Ralph because John C. Reilly was amazing as Wreck-It Ralph. Just the character style of him. I don't know why, but there's something about him as a character that made me like him more.
It was relatable.
He felt like a relatable person because he felt like that one guy who always just wanted to be recognized for his accomplishments, but no one ever really cared about him because it wasn't somebody recognized. He was a weird guy.
Even though like he's more relatable than other protagonists in Disney movies. Even though he technically doesn't exist, he's a digital character.
He's technically an antagonist too, like in his own game.
Yeah.
It's like a weird convoluted thing.
It's like you're the best. You have the best job, and you do the best job at the garbage plant. You do a great job, but nobody's gonna appreciate you for it.
Sorry, William. Go back to what you were saying there. Never mind. Nick kind of took what you had. Let's go with that.
Sorry.
You jerk. Don't steal from people. It's not cool, kids. Don't steal from people. Anyways, I don't know, but I really loved the. I really loved the whole Sugar Rush concept as a area, but it felt like they were there too long, even though I knew they had to be. That was probably the biggest gripe I had with the movies. That I would have loved to see some other worlds that they could have created.
Yeah, I feel like Sugar Rush. I mean, where I really liked the whole concept of it, it was like they just were in. It was like the main setting of the movie, where it's like Fix It Felix Jr. It was understandable they didn't spend that much time there because it's this really tiny setting. It's this really old game.
Yeah.
And then Hero's Duty, it's kind of gigantic, but it's also kind of bland.
Linear.
It wasn't it an on-rail shooter?
Yeah, it was essentially they just go through and they take the same path every time and they climb the tower, fight bugs.
Yeah, which seemed like a fun game.
Kind of like a Time Crisis.
Yeah, kind of like Time Crisis. And then Sugar Rush was like Fast and the Furious meets Candyland.
Girly racing game that's not girly enough, but awesome.
It looked. I would play all three of those games. More Wreck-It Ralph because that's just my thing. But I don't. What would you guys say would be like? What would your favorite moment from the entire movie be? You can go to spoilers now if you want, because this is the part where we can go to spoilers.
Well, I'll say in part of there's a part where he's plummeting towards this volcano, and he basically has to knock all these. It's a diet soda volcano, and he has to knock all these Mentos in to make this explosion to defeat the main villain. And he says this credo from his villain meetings. It's I'm bad, and that's good. I will never be good, and that's not bad, because I know the only person I want to be is me. And at that moment,
I almost cried. I'll be honest.
It was sad.
It was really good. It was like one of those happy sad things that are like weird because it's like you feel good about it, but you feel really sad because of what he's doing.
Yeah, one of my favorite moments was actually when Vanellope, she was racing around the course to try to become an actual character and not a glitch. And so the whole time she was battling with I guess he would be the main antagonist of the movie, King Candy, also known as Turbo.
Spoilers.
Spoiler.
A little late, but spoilers.
Yeah, but just that whole scene, it was like so emotional because you're like, is she gonna make it there? Is she gonna be defeated by Turbo? It's like ruined so many other games.
Which was awesome because I kind of liked the climactic battle on the top of the volcano.
And the fact that he said boss fight.
Yeah, because it actually looked like a boss fight too. That was the best part.
Yeah, the arena dropped down.
That was really cool
he
too.
He had the move where he turned into a ball and charged. It was like those are keystones of what makes a boss battle.
Yes. Now, quickly before we get too far into this to wrap up, what would you guys give it out of a rating of 10, 10 being the highest? What would you give Wreck-It Ralph?
I would give it a 9 out of 10. Yeah. Actually, I liked it enough from a plot and character standpoint. It would have been a 10 out of 10. The only thing I'll say is, like we mentioned with Sugar Rush dragging on a little bit, it's a long movie.
It is a really
But it
long
wasn't
movie.
the length of going, oh man, I've been here for a while. I hope they wrap it up. It was more of a, I've been here for a little while, but I like it.
Yeah.
I would say, well, maybe, going a little bit too into detail, maybe more like a 9.7.
You can be that guy if you want.
But yeah, I felt like the movie, it was kind of perfect, but I'm not sure if it really had a clearly defined audience. I'm not really sure exactly who it was meant for. I mean, I guess it's a family movie, but it's not like really for everyone because
Yeah.
little kids won't get some of the references, and adults might find it too cartoonish.
You might not relate to like the fact that the shooter had like hardcore dubstep, as that's kind of like that's the status
The
quo
kid thing.
nowadays.
It's the new thing for the kids. And for me, I'm gonna have to go with go on Williams' score base and go with a 9.5 because this movie was great, but it wasn't like it was. I felt it was the best video game movie of all time, without a doubt. But it was not. It was a great movie, but there was like a few things here and there that was like maybe just nitpicking and also not wanting too much sugar rush.
Plot convenience.
Yes. But with that, we would like to thank you for joining us for Gamer Talk TV. For Nick and William, my name is Tom Szydlo, and until next we meet, keep on gaming.